Emily, what's up? Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday.
How's the week treated you?
It's been good so far.
Yeah, almost to the weekend, right? So that's always exciting.
Yes, tomorrow's Friday.
Yeah. Got any plans?
Just training,
Makes sense. Kind of
just
what you
training
got to do.
period. Yeah.
No way.
Uh,
Exciting stuff. Exciting. Well, hey, thanks for joining me. It's been a while since we caught up with was September, I think, before what was that? After you won the title, I think. So a lot's kind of gone down since then, of course. And first of all, I want to congratulate you on multiple things, but first the engagement, right? Because you got engaged.
yes.
Exciting. You have the wedding plan. Tell me about this. How exciting is that?
Yeah, so I really just wanted my ring to be
Okay.
engaged. And so no rush on wedding plans. I have a couple other things here in Oklahoma City we want to do first. Obviously, fighting is one of them. So it's kind of on the next couple of years thing.
Okay. All right. And any new dogs? Because you had six last time.
No, no new dogs. Just a couple of fosters here and there, but no permanent residents. No new permanent residents.
Yeah, I mean, six, I'm sure, is a lot to handle.
They are a handful.
Awesome stuff. And, got to congratulate you on the UFC contract, too. That is obviously the big one here. But another congratulations on a successful title defense before, getting the contract as you beat Alesha Zappitella. It's very funny because last time we talked, Emily, we were talking about, oh, maybe a champ versus champ fight. She lost the title and still got to fight you anyways, which I didn't quite agree with
Right,
matchmaking wise, but hey, turned out fine anyways. So, I mean,
right.
a phenomenal performance from you again. I mean, very calculated, very championship, like high level, I thought, just in terms of your approach with it. Took your time to end up getting the finish there in the second. I mean, just tell me about this performance. Are you happy with it? Because didn't seem like you took too much damage and turned it right around now, obviously. Just first title defense. How was it for you?
Yeah, so obviously I didn't get a stop at myself.
Yeah.
So doctor stoppage is not as exciting as stopping it myself, but I stuck to the strategy. So I'm pretty happy with that. We knew she was going to come pretty fast in the first and second to try to really wrestle. And then we knew she would slow down. So I just was trying to be very smart and precise in the first two rounds. And I was really about to pick it up in the third. Um, but it got stopped. So, but a stoppage is a stoppage. So I was able to defend my belt. Um, I would have liked to have been able to pick it up and get my activity up because I know I was a little bit slow in the first and second, but that was really just to defend what I thought was going to be her best offense in the first and second round. But yeah, I'm happy with it. I'm just trying to get as technical and be better each time. And so I did feel really technical and really sharp and really good in there.
Yeah, I thought it was a good performance too. And I know it's probably hard for you to like compare these finishes now after the Taylor one. It's like, it's going to be hard to top
Right.
that.
Right. Yeah. And I've just kind of come to terms with that. I'm like, you know what? That will probably never happen again. And that's okay because it happened and I got to enjoy it. I got to enjoy that moment. And if I never get another, knockout like that, that's okay.
Yeah.
And I don't need to like, a lot of people are like, oh, are you stressed about having like passed that up? But I'm like, no, I'm not. Like it happened and it was incredible. And I'm just going to keep on going. Like I don't feel stressed out about it. Like I enjoyed that moment. And now I'm just trying to be better in all aspects of my game.
Absolutely. And I mean, as for the Zappitella kind of finish or end to that fight specifically, like, did you think that, as it was kind of unfolding when you saw the cut that it could lead to that? Because when I was watching it, it looked like, and I guess to the people on TV, it looked like her eye like was actually bleeding rather than kind of on the eyelid where it was or whatever, but obviously not a great spot. As it was kind of happening, were you thinking, all right, I might not have to continue on with this one?
During the round, I didn't. I saw the blood come down, and I remember thinking, like, where is that coming from?
Right.
Because I didn't see a cut on the eyebrow. So I also was like, looks like her eye is bleeding, but that shouldn't be the case. But then towards the end of the round, the ref was like pointing to the doctor and was like, "Be ready to come in." So I knew that he had his eye on it. And then in between rounds, they were just taking way too long. I just had a feeling it was just way past the minute. I was like, "There's no way this can keep going. They've taken way too much time." So during the round, no, I didn't. I just had heard, the ref saying some things, and I was trying to figure out where the cut was, and I didn't even see it until after, when they replayed it 20 times and really got close on it. But yeah, so I didn't realize that until the in between rounds.
It was very kind of crazy too, because like that was kind of going on commentary, they were saying that Alesha was born blind or something crazy, and so they were like, it's always good to take care of your eyes no matter what. Like, I can't handle eye stuff, so like eye pokes, I can't even handle watching those. But did you hear about that after too? And it was like, oh, that's kind of a crazy story.
Yeah, I heard about it after, because a bunch of people were like, in the commentary, they were talking about it during when that whole thing was happening, when the doctor was checking her out. They were talking about that, and I had no idea before. And obviously that made more sense as why they were really sensitive about her eyes. And, obviously once you say you can't see, it's almost like they have to stop it. I mean, there's no way you can't. So yeah, I mean, it made sense and I understood it, but I was a little bit bummed out about it, but it's okay. It worked out.
Yes, definitely did. So now UFC bound, Emily. And I know this was something you've been wanting for a good while now, especially, once the title, that was kind of the next goal. Has it kicked in yet? I mean, it's still kind of fresh, right? But what was the reaction? Tell me about the moment you found out and all that.
Yeah, it's kicked in. I'm definitely still excited about it. I allowed myself, because I knew that I was going to be really excited and my team was going to be really excited for a few days. So I allowed myself to kind of be over the top excited a couple of days. And now we've kind of settled in and really just got to work on this camp. And it's perfect timing. I'm familiar with the opponent. I mean, I'm familiar with everybody, but I'm just settling in and camp is getting in its flow.
I was going to say, it's got to be kind of nice too that this is short notice in a sense, but like it's not 2 weeks away or 1 week away. So it's like it worked out better than it could have, right? In terms of getting the short notice.
Right. Yeah. In my mind, I don't think 6 weeks is short notice. Like you said, I've been offered a fight on 3 days notice by the UFC. So like, this is like good amount of time to prepare. And like, so it's perfect timing in my mind. And, the only thing is like the UFC books fights so far in advance, like 3 to 4 months. So that's why, I was starting to understand that people are saying short notice, because the normal time is 3 to 4 months. So yeah, I'm excited. It's perfect time for me. I don't really like to have like a super long camp, because it's just like super long camp.
Come on.
And I just, yeah. So that kind of like 4 to 8 week period is like perfect timing for me.
Yeah, it's funny. There've been some fights announced recently for like October, and it's like that feels so far away right now.
Yes.
It's a bit of a doozy, but yeah, as you mentioned, got kind of Invicta royalty standing in front of you with this one with Jessica Penne, both former champs. She was the atomweight champ, of course, the very first one, if my memory serves me right. Been around forever, pioneer, gotten back some momentum after kind of the crazy saga she went through with all the USADA kind of stuff and injuries, just couldn't get in there. But now she's on a winning streak again, and then had some trouble here getting an opponent. So here you are to save the day for her, but obviously familiar with her. I mean, how exciting is it for someone like Jessica, a pioneer of the sport, to be, your introduction to the UFC and in front of fans?
Right. Yes, I'm excited. I'm very familiar with her just because, like you said, she's kind of come up in Invicta, and I've pretty much watched Invicta since the very beginning. So, I've seen Jessica's Invicta career and her UFC career. And so it's really exciting to, fight somebody that is a veteran. And so, I'd be excited with any opponent, but Jessica's really good. And I'm just excited. I'm excited for this fight. I'm excited for this matchup. And, it's cool that it's in like an arena with fans. Yeah. It's been a minute since, that's happened. So I'm just overly excited.
Do you think does that add a little bit of pressure at all, having kind of, going back to normal for the UFC and Long Island, traveling somewhere, and then having a bigger arena, actually an atmosphere again?
Right. Yeah. I try to not allow things to put pressure on me, only positive pressure in my mind. I don't do well if I, I'm hammering myself and just drilling in all this pressure. So I know myself really well over these past few years, and I just, positive pressure is the way to go for me. And I'm just more excited, and those things don't put pressure on me. I'm just camp, and I get there and it's all just new experiences. So more just new, exciting, and less about pressured.
Yeah, and we talked about it last time, I think, but like you've already had the experience going through Bellator and now Invicta, so it's like it won't be too new, but it's just like been a bit kind of since that kind of thing, right?
Right. Yeah. So I feel like I am not coming from like a super small show and jumping like this big jump into the UFC, which is really cool because I've got my feet wet in other big promotions that are big promotions, but not obviously as big as the UFC. So I do feel like it's more of a level up instead of like a big jump. So I'm excited and I'm really glad that I've had the experience that I've had so that I can kind of take this and not just be like in total shock with it. And just, I mean, I know it's going to be really new and there's going to be a lot of emotions going on when I'm there, but I'm looking forward to it. And that's kind of the whole point. Put myself in new situations and see what I can do in those situations.
Yeah, and I mean, I kind of wanted to mention that too. It's like obviously way easier to say in hindsight, but like gotta make you a little bit happy to have taken the time going through what you have to get to the UFC before like just jumping right in, because so many people kind of are able to do that nowadays just because whether it's Contender Series or for some reason they get brought up, whether it's the current Ultimate Fighter season, like a lot of the Invicta flyweights are on there, and just jumping right into the thing. But for you, a little bit different,
Yeah, so that definitely gives me confidence because I've had hard fights and I've fought a lot of really high level competition out of the UFC that even a lot of them have then gone to the UFC. So, I've just gained a lot of confidence for my career. It's been hard and it's been long, but I know I belong here. So I'm excited for this opportunity.
For sure. And with Jessica specifically, it's a matchup I think a lot of people who especially know about you as well and what you've been doing recently, they'll say on paper this is mostly like striker versus grappler, because those are maybe what the strengths of each of you guys would be. Not that you can't do everything as well, but when you do look at her, it's like I found over the years like she has this incredible talent of just being able to get on people's backs from like any position. So with her, is it kind of like a thing where don't want to maybe play down there? I'm sure you're comfortable doing it, but when you kind of approach her as a stylistic matchup, what do you look at?
Yeah, I definitely think she is like a judo and jiu-jitsu fighter. She doesn't mind striking by any means, but she definitely wants to hit the ground at some point. Though I don't like to go in with a very specific game plan. Like I'll train very specific things all camp, but I'll allow myself the freedom in the fight because if you have this game plan, you're like, gotta stay standing, gotta stay standing. What happens if you hit the ground? You're going to freak out, or you didn't train those things because you were so sure you were going to stay standing. I'm training everything. I'm prepared for everything, and I'm well aware of her strengths. And by no means am I going to willingly give up my back or jump on the ground. But I am confident in those situations because I have fought all of the above. I've fought wrestlers, strikers, grapplers, and I can hold my own. And I'm also very capable of doing those same things myself. So I'm less focused on defending her stuff and more focused on just doing my own game plan and presenting my strengths and stuff. So that's just taken me a long time to kind of understand and get comfortable with. But more recently, I've been feeling very comfortable in the cage and just looking forward to showing, all my skills.
Yeah, definitely can't go wrong there. And obviously getting a win over Jessica in your first UFC fight, like that's a good name to have on the belt, whether it's the first UFC fight or whenever. But like not to look past her, but right now, Emily, it's like I feel like you've been doing so good. And personally, I think you're like probably around 15 worldwide in the strawweight division. So like I feel like a lot of people would agree with that for the most part, with the champ status and all that. But it makes me wonder, like, how quickly do you want to climb the strawweight ranks? Like, are you hoping to get a UFC ranked top 15 like right after? Like what is kind of the speed you want to get to the top here?
So I like to take things one fight at a time just because, especially in the UFC, there's so many options. Like you really don't know who you're going to get matched up against. I feel like Nick really quickly matches fights after fights. So like you can't really plan, he's just gonna match, and you're just gonna kind of be in that drawing game. So I'm not really worried about picking, a ranked person or whatever. I just more than anything want to stay active and, do this fight and whatever comes up after that. And then, obviously down the line, I'd love to be in the rankings and whatnot, but I've learned not to rush. I mean, I finally made it here after a long time, and I'm just going to get settled in and see where I fit in. And I'm looking forward to that, but definitely not rushing it.
Yes. Yeah, that's never a good thing to do in life with most things. So I think that's a good strategy to have. And you mentioned the activity, which I find interesting, having now held a title. Like, did you notice it to be easier to maybe be more active without the title? Because, you only ended up having 2 title fights on this recent stretch. Of course, had the first one against Kanako there. But like, is that something you kind of notice a difference in and think it'll be nice to maybe fight more actively because you don't have to be, the champ. We have to build the card around you, all that kind of stuff.
Right. Yeah. So I want to be active, and I've wanted that, my whole career, but just with COVID, that slowed things down. And then, Invicta they don't have a lot of people that have as many fights as me. So finding opponents for me was a little bit more difficult. Now they've got some great new signings and there's a lot more options. But when I was fighting for them, there's not a lot of options in Invicta. So that kind of slowed it down. And then, of course, when you have the title fight, Shannon's got to build the card around it. And she just would slow down. Invicta had slowed down for a couple of years, and she's picking it up right now. So that's good. I think that they're going to have a lot more fights and a lot more experienced people coming in. But now that I'm signed with UFC, I think that it will be no problem staying active. I think they have so many girls and so many fight opportunities that I'll be able to just jump in when I want, hopefully.
Yeah, and you mentioned the options. I know we were looking forward to maybe Liz Tracy fighting you, but she just couldn't make weight. So in comes Zappitella. It's like, well, all right, I guess.
So. Yeah, I know she had several options for that fight, and it really just came down to the fact that the other options didn't work out, I think. And of course, Zappitella had previously mentioned wanting to fight me and blah, blah, blah. So I think that's the majority of what played into that opponent matchup. But Liz Tracy I also thought was going to be a potential matchup. But I mean, you have to make weight at least once for people to know that you can make the weight, especially there's a difference between 116 and 115, for a title fight. So got to hit the weight. So I'm curious to see that, how the Invicta division plays out now, but definitely.
Yeah. Going to be very interesting indeed. And I mentioned the Kanako fight there. Are you wanting a rematch at some point, Emily? I know that's one that you believe you won, and now it's possible again.
Yeah. I'm not really big on rematches unless they're like title fights.
Fair.
I just feel like unless it's necessary, there's so many other options. But, if that ever came up, I, of course, would not say no. I don't like to say no because I feel like if it's offered, then that's something that I need to do.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like to say no. I like to, if that's a challenge, then, let's do it. But as far as, wanting it or seeking it out, probably not. I learned a lot of lessons from that fight, so I'm thankful for it. And, judges, that's not the only decision they've ever messed up. And so it's just kind of one of those things you just got to get over. It took me a while too, but I'm just looking forward to the future.
Yes. Yeah. We'll wait and see what happens. So no need to think about that just yet. But as you are now in the UFC, Emily, I did want to get your thoughts on, we got a pretty big fight coming up this weekend. We actually got a couple of them, but in the strawweight division specifically, I think you know where I'm going, the rematch between Weili and Joanna. I mean, arguably the best fight ever the first time around. Very excited to see this one again. So, I mean, just what are your thoughts on this? Are you excited for it? Do you think Weili will win it again? Tell me about it.
I'm really excited. Honestly, Joanna's smart. I mean, they're both smart. They're both very, very good. But I think that Joanna probably watched Rose fight Weili and watch how Rose beat Weili. So I think that Joanna will probably take it this time. But I also wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. It's super close. It's like a coin toss. They're both really, really good. But I do think that, Joanna probably did her homework, watched exactly how strategically Rose beat her, and will come a little bit smarter this time. Last time she kind of brawled, sometimes you just got to get in there, but she watched Rose kind of be a little bit more strategic, take less damage. So I'm curious for sure.
Yeah, great points there. And something a lot of people mention is like the time away from Joanna. She hasn't fought since that first time. I mean, for her and just like for yourself, like what are your thoughts on ring rust? I think everyone kind of at this point agrees it's just a mental kind of preparation thing and whatnot. We've seen Dominic Cruz kind of debunk it, big time. But how do you feel about that whole aspect?
I think it just depends on the person. And I think Joanna is someone that it won't affect. And I think it is a mental thing. So it just depends on the person. I don't think Joanna is one of those people that's going to be bothered by it. So I think she'll be there and she'll be fine.
Yeah. And she's not coming off an injury either. So a little bit different in that case. So yeah, we will definitely see. But all right, Emily, I will leave you with one last thing here. Always great getting to catch up with you. Going to give you a tough one though, to close things out. So another a time travel question a little bit here. If you could go back in time to talk to yourself when you started out MMA, what would be the best piece of advice you'd give yourself?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I could tell myself a lot. I would probably just say like, there is no perfect path to get there. Like you could have several paths to get to your goal and to reach your goal. So like in the beginning, I had this idea, like not straight shot because I know, there's always ups and downs, but like my career has been like a little bit more up and down and wind around than I thought it would originally be. So, I've learned a lot and I'm thankful for it. It took me a long time to be able to be thankful for the route that my career took. Because sometimes you look around and see other people just have like not easy paths because I don't know them, but a much easier straight shot path to some of these goals. And that's okay. Everyone's path is different, but for me, I would look back and I would say, hey, it's okay if it's not a perfect route to get there. You can still get there, wins, losses, and whatever, it doesn't matter. You could still hit your goal, reach your goal, and still make it there.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a good bit of advice. And everyone kind of wants it to be one way, right? When you start out in whatever your next journey is. So that makes a lot of sense to me. So,
yes.
But all right, Emily, I will let you get on with the rest of your day and enjoy the weekend coming up here. Super excited for you. I knew this was a matter of time, ever since you won the title. So big congratulations on the contract, on the engagement, on the title defense, all these things you got it going on right now. God. Crazy.
Thank you. Oh, yes. I'm excited about it all.
All right, Emily. Well, until next time then, wish you the best of luck with training camp goes all smooth and have fun in Long Island, all that good stuff. So just thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.